Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus and Flash Manufacturing and New Home Sales. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. And good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our YouTube live stream of the week as well. So let's talk about a group of events that we're here for. So event number one is Flash Manufacturing. And I do want to just say hello to our friends that are watching us on YouTube. Now, Flash Manufacturing, we have to look at the reality. We've been trying to trade this report for years. I mean, I was thinking about it this morning. It's been years. And I don't think we've ever had a stable setup. We've had gold. We've traded the ES. We've tried trap trades. It's just not a consistent report no matter what we do. We've tried bonds. At the current time, so just looking at my testing journal, in October, the breakout worked on gold. In November and December, the breakout, it was a whip, and ZN didn't work very well. So what we're looking at is occasionally the gold breakout works. We've had a trap trade on this report for gold. I did some extra testing. Right now, the only thing that is sort of working is a small breakout on the ES. There's just not a setup that is reliable or safe or is a good moneymaker. I'd have to qualify this report as a bad coin toss. Remember how we've said that there are good coin toss trades that, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but they're not bad. I mean, occasionally you'll win, occasionally you'll lose. This one is a coin toss, and it doesn't have a history of winning. So I just, I'm willing to trade the ES breakout in my Top Step account because it's not a big risk. And I want to test this setup because it's new. But I have to say that this is just not a report that is going to help you to build your account. I mean, that's the reality. It's not a report that's working well. And we have a few reports that sometimes come up that way. And there's nothing you can do about it. You have to deal with the truth. You have to know the truth because you know what kind of risk you want to take in your account. So this is nothing approaching a family money trade. It just, doesn't go anywhere near a trade that I would trade my family's money on. And I mean, that's the reality. We don't have a setup that we can believe in because it is what it is. Sometimes a report doesn't behave well. It may be time to take a walk from this report. I mean, I never walk away from reports. Hardly ever. But this report has been so up and down for so long. Let me show you last month. The truth will set you free. Yep. This was last month. We look at a trap trade because we've had a trap trade. And when you look at the spike sheet, when you have a 13 tick spike and a 63 tick spike and a 51 tick spike surrounded by a 16 tick spike, that's telling you that you don't even have a trap trade that is going to be reliable because most of the time or part of the time it won't fill because you just don't have enough movement. So this is a report that over the past 6 months or so, if you go back to September, it's had a couple of really small moves, a couple of really big moves, and everything in between. So let me show you what happened last month, though. We were trying the gold. Let's see, last month, what were we doing? Were we doing the trap? Nope, we were trying the gold breakout, if I remember. Our DMM last month had a bond breakout, which really doesn't test well, and a gold breakout, which probably, is tolerable at best. Tolerable at best. So last month, I traded the gold breakout live. All right. And it was an instant stop. It whipped to the upside, and it didn't whip enough to do a good trap trade. It just was a lousy whip that stopped us out. Watch. Oops. Just not a very good setup at all. Not a very good setup at all. And so that was a loser. Not happy about that. If we look at that, if we go through the videos, I mean, I can go through every video, and we can do it. We can go through some of them. Let's look at February. So February, I believe we were trading a trap because we have not had a reliable setup. February, I think so February, it filled the trap and actually reversed and wasn't bad, but it filled the trap by one tick. So there were some people that might not have gotten filled, but in February, the trap worked. And in February, the breakout would have worked. Okay. Then you go to January, and there was not a very good reversal. If there's not a good reversal, that means you don't have a good profit on the trap trade. So let's see, January. Now, January, we were doing the trap. It had a pretty good sized gold move in January. And I think it stopped us out in January. Did it? Let's see. January had a good move as a breakout. And as a trap, it never gave us a big reversal. You would have had an opportunity to get out, possibly with some profit, but it was not an easy trade as a trap. Better as a breakout. So this is one of those trades that we've taken the trap out because it just hasn't been effective enough. And then we've gone to the breakout, but the breakout has quite a few times where it whips. And that's what we're going through on this report. Inconsistent results. So I decided, let me do some serious testing on the ES as a breakout. So I did some ES testing. And it was decent, okay? I wouldn't trade my family's money on it. But if there's a breakout kind of move today, then the ES should work. It's not a big breakout. It's not a huge stop. So that breakout hit target 1. Okay, the next breakout hits target 1, struggles to continue. And then in February, let's see what it did in February. February shoots up, definitely gives you target 1. Looks like it's going to do target 2 in February. February was pretty good. November on the ES breakout. Give me a second. Here's November. November fails, whipsaw. So November fails. So to sum up the ES breakout, a couple of target 1 trades, 1 nice winner, and a stop. Okay, nothing to write home about, but it's a news report. If we don't get a decent move out of this report today, then I may just lose my interest in this report because we've been struggling too hard to get a setup that works. I mean, after a while, I mean, how many times can you trade the same report completely differently each time, right? And hope for a good result. You just don't get good results if you don't have consistency. Now, sometimes we'll get 3 or 4 months of consistency, and that's okay. But if every month it trades differently, then that creates a problem, all right? So I'm going to do the ES breakout in my Top Step account. I'm going to trigger this report at 9:44:59. And while we're doing this, new home sales is another report. We've never had a DMM for it. And the last 2 out of 3 have been losers. So right now, new home sales is a watch. It's not a report that you want to trade. The home sale reports are interesting in the sense that the market is looking at them. There's no doubt about it. The market looks at the home market very heavily. Home sales, new homes, existing homes, pending homes, but they often trade with other news. That's one of the biggest issues of the new homes reports and the home reports in general. They trade with different news items, or they don't trade by themselves. So it's hard to have a good test for them. It's not that they're necessarily always bad or always good, just that they trade not by themselves a lot. So on the ES, we're going to go with a small bracket of 6, a target of 6, a target of 12, and a stop of 10. I'll use a target 1 stop move of break even -2. We'll give it a shot. We'll label it ES. Label it ES. And then I will test the bracket width by setting the time to 0. Now, if you want to know, everyone, we did get up early and we traded German and France manufacturing in the middle of the night. Most everybody made money on the German report. The French report was a loser, and most of us made enough to make a profit and overcome the French loser. Almost everyone. It was worth getting up. Those are family money trades, and they remain family money trades. I like those reports still. So the bracket width is looking good. We're going to trigger it at 9:44:59. Another issue, and I really think it could be one of the reasons this report is difficult. Or if you think about it, what I'm going to say now does not make sense 100%. And the reason I say it doesn't make sense 100% is because we trade Chicago PMI. And we trade that at 9:42 in the morning. And we don't really have a problem with the setup on Chicago PMI. And I was going to say that Chicago PMI trades close to the open, and this report trades close to the open. But it's nullified. The thought that because it's trading close to the open makes it a difficult trade to trade is nullified by Chicago PMI, which trades a little bit closer to the open, and we have good results with that event. So it may just be the quality of this event. It may just be the way the market cares about this event. It's just not enough. It used to be much more than it is now. I really believe that. But that's what we're dealing with. So I'm going to trigger at 9:44.59. And I am going to do it in Top Step. I do think there is a possibility, or I wouldn't bother. I think there is a possibility we could get a move. If the market turns out to be too volatile from the open, then I won't trade it. That usually is not the case. Usually the market calms down. And then the other thought, let me make sure my time is correct. 9:44, bracket of 6, targets of 6 and 12 with a stop of 10 and a break even -2 on our target 1 stop move. That trade is ready to go. The other thing I was going to say is it may be that certainly gold is going to move on this trade. We have seen it work as a breakout. We've seen it work as a trap. It might be better to just try gold as a reversal or a continuation this morning. If you get a good burst to the down or the upside, maybe a good reversal will come into play because we have seen the trap work occasionally on this report. It is a little better as a gold breakout, but like we've said previously, there is a fair amount of whipping on this report as well. So there are some interesting gold levels. You've got the VWAP below us, S1 below us, the low of the day, too far away. We're not going to get there. Well, I don't even think we would get to the high of the day. The high of the day is $20 away. You know, that's a lot of ticks. That's not going to happen. I think that it's certainly possible you could get a change in direction on gold, and I'll just put a reversal on. More as a practice on this one. This report is just not a favorite report right now to spend money on. We traded this morning, made a couple of bucks. We'll trade Tesla this afternoon. There's a lot of trades this week. Pick the good ones. You don't have to trade the ones that haven't been working well. But I will put a reversal continuation. I'll look for a 20-tick target, and I'll risk 19 ticks. And I'm not live on it. I'm going to manage the ES trade over there and see how that works out. And then we'll watch gold for a minute. Then we're going to zip over to new homes, actually, and just see what the market does. We'll watch the market on new home sales. So reverse 20-tick target, 19-tick stop. Call it REV, REV. And then if I forget, please remind me to get over to new homes. So when you enable a reversal trade, you get your buttons. And let's check our time sync also. Make sure our computer is in sync. by going to the website time.is. My computer is in sync. So we're ready to go just for fun. So you could see a recent new home sale trade. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. So this was new home sales in March. It traded by itself. The market was very volatile that morning. Multiple webcams. There's a webcam in the video. So here's new home sales. I think if I remember, this is the one that worked. So it shoots up. There were less new homes sold, which news that's negative can tend to push gold to the upside. There also was a pretty strong trend to the upside that day. And if you waited, I believe it goes up eventually and hits the targets. That was the new home trade that worked. Yeah, it's going to hit that first target, and then it's going to keep going up. We also tried to trade some earnings this morning. We looked at UPS. There was not much of a move. We looked at PepsiCo, not much of a move. GE and GM. The YM did eventually test that high of the day like we thought it would, but the earnings themselves were not great opportunities, maybe 10 possible ticks on GE, GM, and they were not even released on time. GE was like 2.5 minutes early. So it's like I was saying, a lot of these earnings rooms in the morning particularly are going to be learning and watching and trying some things, some events we've never traded before. So you could see new home sales was not a great event. If you waited, though, I'm pretty sure, I thought it did eventually go up. If you would have waited 2 minutes there, it took 2 minutes to eventually go up. Most of the time, we would only maybe have gotten the first target on that. You have to have a lot of patience for that to work. And then the next two new home sales, they did not work. So they were stop outs. And that's why, new home sales, we don't have a DMM. It's not a magic report. We want to trade the reports. They're going to give us money. That's the goal here. Trade the reports to give us money. So we have an ES breakout. We have a possible gold change in direction. Markets have been bullish this morning since I've been watching them. The YM was bullish after earnings. Most of the earnings were pretty good. Most of the earnings looked pretty solid, very positive. So we got 5 minutes to go on this report. Let me think for a second. If I was going to trade the MES on this, I would use a little bit bigger stop. I'd probably use a 15 stop. Maybe Chantal, I don't know if you're here. What do you think? A slightly bigger bracket on the ES if you use an MES? Targets. I mean, I just don't think that this is going to be a big mover. I might use an 8 bracket rather than a 6. All right, so 5 minutes. The market's definitely not too crazy today so far. I said this morning I was hoping we would not have a crazy volatile market today because that will help us with Tesla, and we'll talk about that later. I definitely don't want to see a market as volatile as the market was when we traded Netflix. That was a really, really volatile market. And the markets have been more often than not crazy volatile than they have been, than they have been. They've been very, very active, to say the least. So a couple minutes to go on this. And this is, they are expecting positive data. Over 50 on this report on the news is positive manufacturing data. It's not bad. It seems like the US economy is still robust, but there's a lot of problems. There are a lot of problem areas. We talk about the same things over and over. No matter what anybody says, there is inflation, and the price of oil is going to lend itself to inflation. Commodities have a lot of inflation, food inflation, clothing, housing inflation. Market's pretty volatile here, folks. It's pretty volatile. I'm watching and I'm thinking our bracket is awfully small. The bracket is awfully small. I'd rather leave money on the table than get filled in the wrong direction. I like to see it calm down right about now. And it really isn't. Okay, we've got a minute and a half to go here. Just watching. I don't like to cancel a report because every time I cancel a trade, it has a really good event. But this is quite volatile, so be prepared to take the risk if you're going to trade this. Is the manufacturing going to be good or bad? I don't even know if it's going to affect the movement in the ES that much. It's not a gigantic report, and that may be part of the problem. All right, 10 seconds. So you know what I did, folks? I had my orders. I had my chart. Where the heck are my orders? I'm not happy. Folks, I had my orders on my JOBB chart. I made $225, and we didn't even see what happened because I had the wrong chart on. So forgive me for getting up early and being half asleep. So it worked. Did anyone trade the ES? I apologize. I had my chart on the wrong chart. So I didn't see the trade take place, which is awfully frustrating, but we can see it now. I'm going to turn off my breakout. The breakout on the ES worked very well because we made $225 on it. Larry, you traded the NQ. I don't think that I liked the testing on the NQ. Gold looked like it had a very good move as a breakout. We'll watch the video. And let's go to new home sales. We'll come back. We can run a replay if we wanted to on the breakout, but it's not necessary. You could see that it just broke out and hit both targets. It's just that simple. It hit both my targets and worked perfectly on the ES. It worked on the NQ. It worked on the MES. And it looks like gold would have worked. So let me prepare for new homes. I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube. Trading is real, and sometimes things go wrong. It's just the way life is. The trade took place properly. We just didn't see it because my charts were on the wrong account. I have 3 different accounts: SIM, Top Step, and JOBB cash account. So it is what it is. I made a mistake. I want to thank everybody for watching us on YouTube. We will be streaming again for free next week. So hit the notification bell so you can figure out when that will be. And I want to thank you all for watching, but it was a winning trade with our ES setup. We traded it and made money in our cash account. It would have worked in, no reason why it wouldn't have worked in any account. It was just a straight ahead breakout.